Are you planning on starting volleyball soon? Well, I'll go over 4 main topics that you might want to remember before starting. What to expect when playing volleyball for the first time, what you would need like equipment and gear, thinking long-term about volleyball, and how to reach success. So if you're planning on starting but don't know exactly where to start, these are some of my recommendations. First, you should try out with your school team if it's offered, or else play recreational volleyball so you can really understand if you enjoy this sport. Then, if you want to continue, you could try out for a rep or club team. By this point, it's important to have proper gear, which I'll go over in the next section, and a volleyball to practice with. You should also know all the rules and positions to play volleyball, and on my channel, I've created several videos that explain this, so click the I if you'd like to check them out. Also, some things to remember before starting is that volleyball is a team sport, so it's important to support your teammates, cheer them on, and be ready to accept their strengths and weaknesses. Being in a team, it's also important to communicate and be vocal on the court. Team sports are a great way to meet new people and make lifelong friends, since you share a common interest. It's also important to follow your coach's instructions at all times. And the key to being selected at tryouts is by standing out from all the other athletes with your skills and team leadership. Before starting, it's important to have the proper gear. Now, when I say this, it does not mean you need to go all out and buy a bunch of volleyball equipment. But after experiencing and actually playing volleyball, you would have a better idea of the things you need and don't. But here's some of the things I'd recommend getting, and they're all linked in the description below. First, knee pads. You have probably seen a lot of volleyball players wearing this, and that's because knee pads are essential. I saw people mostly wearing either the black Mizuno, Nike, or Adidas pair. If you can't purchase this, that's okay because there are still several players who don't wear them. But I would recommend getting a pair, especially since it protects when diving for the ball. The next item is a water bottle. This is basic, but trust me, it's important. From my past experiences, most players bring the Under Armour water jug, which is pretty big but helpful when it comes to long hour practices or tournaments. Lastly, I suggest getting good quality shoes. I've spoken about this on my channel a few times before, but it's important because it can prevent slipping. Although there are volleyball shoes, many players wear basketball shoes because they have better grip, while volleyball shoes are lighter, making it easier to jump in, so it just depends on what pair you would prefer to wear. Now let's talk about where you can reach in the long run with volleyball. Here's a map I created with all the steps you would need to take to achieve your goal of being a volleyball player. So like I said before, you could start by joining your school team or playing recreational. Then if you really enjoy the sport, you can join a club or rep team. Keep in mind this takes commitment because my rep team practiced for about 2 hours 4 times a week, and then we even had tournaments in far off locations on some weekends, so I needed to set a significant amount of time aside for volleyball. When you're at this level, skilled players are offered college or university scholarships. But if you don't want to compete competitively and don't have so much time, many schools and community programs offer intramurals, which you won't have to make a large time commitment. Okay, so now let's discuss how you can be successful with volleyball. So being successful in volleyball is completely different for each person. For someone, it might be getting into a club team, and maybe for someone else, it's getting a volleyball scholarship. So being successful varies for each person, but I'll share some tips that I found really beneficial to reach any goal of success. First, it's to practice. This goes without saying, but if you don't practice often, it will definitely affect your play, and you won't be improving much. You might already be going for team practices, but other than that, it's important to spend some time practicing by yourself and working on things you specifically need to improve on. In the past, I've also signed up for some volleyball private lessons, and I'd also recommend doing this because then a coach will notice your specific strengths and weaknesses and help you get better. However, you can also just do drills at home by yourself or with a friend or sibling. It's also great to watch volleyball drill videos on YouTube, and you can just follow along with that. I also have a few of those on my channel, so definitely check them out. Next, it's important to watch volleyball. By watching high-level volleyball matches, you would observe proper techniques and tricks to do in a game. And after seeing certain techniques several times, you would subconsciously play like that. For me, I found it beneficial because after watching a lot of volleyball matches, I learned how effective tips are and how this small skill can easily outsmart players you're facing by doing dumps or wipes. and I wouldn't have realized this without spending time watching volleyball matches. Then you would want to work out and stay fit. And volleyball practices can be challenging at times, so it's important to exercise often. Volleyball exercises can wear you out, so it's important to always stay fit to prevent injuries. This also goes with staying fit, but it's also important to be healthy and stay hydrated throughout the day to prevent injuries. Okay, now we've come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell, and stick around for more videos like this.